which I've had a lot of people actually ask me this question. How do you make your makeup last so long? So I'm going to go through all the bits that I do to make my makeup last long. So that's kind of how I apply my foundation and concealer, techniques of layering. I'm also going to talk about baking, which is a technique that I started to use recently, and I know it's been kind of all over. So many celebrities have done it. Kim Kardashian kind of made it very famous. But yeah, and it really helps to kind of make your makeup last all day and not budge, and I'll also talk about my favorite products to make sure this happens. So I've got quite a few things to show you. So without further ado, I'm going to start with a tutorial because I don't want to make this a super long video. But yeah, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you enjoy my videos. I upload twice a week, and I also have a blog, JASMINAPURI.com. I'll leave the link down below. So don't forget to check that one out. I upload usually maybe once or twice a week on there as well. So don't forget to check it out, and let's get started. Apologies for this terrible look. I do know I look really pale and I haven't been feeling my best, so I've got under eye bags and darkness and I really don't look great, I know, but I think this is great because then it'll really show if the makeup does something and I look better or not, so I think it's a good test actually. But we're going to start everything off with a little bit of moisturiser. So first of all, to be able to make your makeup to last longer, you definitely need to have your skin really well moisturized, because if not, the makeup is just gonna kind of crack and seep into like fine lines, and it's basically just not gonna last as long. When you moisturize your skin really well, the makeup has like a good solid foundation to stick onto, and it's not just going to get absorbed by your skin, so it's going to make it last a lot longer. Applying moisturiser is also going to help to stop your skin from kind of cracking and flaking and making makeup kind of cling onto dry patches. So I'm using this Charlotte Tilbury moisturiser, and I really like this one because it's got a little bit of SPF. It's really hydrating, but at the same time it's not kind of oily or greasy. And it's a really good base for makeup. Okay, so now that we've moisturized, I'm going to go ahead, and the next step would be to apply a primer. I'm not a big fan of primers because I just find that they add like kind of a very sticky layer. A lot of them can be very kind of silicone-y, or some of them have got like a very powdery finish, so I'm not a big fan of primers. But if you do like primers, that would be the next step. A primer basically makes your skin have kind of a protective film over the moisturizer so that your makeup just lasts a bit longer. But instead of a primer, I like to use a BB cream. I really like this one because it adds a bit of coverage to my skin, it evens out my skin tone really well, and it has SPF 50, which means that it protects me when I'm out in the sun because my foundation doesn't have any SPF. So this is really good because it doubles up as an SPF, but it doesn't give me any flashback. So when I take pictures in the evening, I don't find that I get any flashback with this, even though it has such high SPF. And I'm just gonna take a couple of pumps, and then I'm just gonna apply this, kind of dot it on my face, and then just spread it out with fingers. My foundation is also a little bit too light for my skin now that it's summer and I'm a little bit more tanned. So this kind of just helps it darken it a little bit, because this really blends in with your skin tone and mimics your skin tone. So it's a really nice primer, and I do find that when I apply this, my foundation just lasts so much longer than when I don't have this underneath. It just kind of helps it stick on and last all day. This is also completely oil free, which means that because I have really oily skin, especially on my T-zone, it really helps to kind of keep that oil under control and not add any greasiness, which some primers can do. So as you can see, that already looks a lot better. My skin looks a lot more evened out. It's added a little bit of coverage, covered kind of small imperfections, and like I said, it's a great base for foundation. I'm now going to go in with my foundation, and I'm using the YSL Touche Éclat foundation, and I really like this one because it's kind of light coverage but still has enough coverage. I'd say it's more sort of medium coverage, and it has no SPF, so it's really good if you want to use it in the evening for flash photography, and it's also very illuminating, but it's oil free, which means it's not greasy. So I quite like using this one, and I just take one pump because now I've already got a little bit of coverage with my BB cream, which means I really don't need all that much foundation. So I'm just kind of going to dot it over like I did with the BB cream, and I'm first going to blend it in with fingers. And as you can see it's a little bit too light for my skin, but because it's now going to blend in with the BB cream, it just kind of gives it the perfect shade. It's important to apply a very sheer layer of foundation, and then you can kind of apply more layers. But if you work in thin layers, your makeup is just going to last a lot longer than if you apply a kind of very thick layer all at once. Now, to make your foundation last longer, I find it's really important to blend it in really well with your skin. It's also going to give you a much more flawless finish. So I'm going to use my beauty blender, and I really like this because it kind of removes any excess and it just makes it look perfectly blended in with your skin. So if you don't have one of these, you really should invest in one. So I'm just going to kind of dab this all over my face. This is going to remove any excess, like I said, and it's just going to kind of help it mesh with the skin and just kind of give it a really flawless finish. I'm also using this beauty blender damp because I just find it helps the product blend in much better if it's damp. I've got a full blog post on the beauty blender, so I will link that in the info box below so you can check it out. There you go, now it's fully blended in, and now the next step would be to apply any kind of corrector or concealer, and that's going to kind of help you achieve the flawless base that you want, and then we're going to talk about powdering. So now that everything is super blended out, I'm going to start off with the most exciting part of this video, which is baking. So I'm going to use the Laura Mercier translucent, I think it's called Secret Brightening Powder. It's like a loose powder for under the eyes, and honestly I've only started baking recently and it's made the biggest difference to my makeup routine. I always found that my under eye concealer would end up creasing a little bit, maybe because I apply so much, but that's the only way I find that I can brighten my under eye area. And honestly, I was so fed up. I tried every powder, but it always kind of ended up creasing if I had it on for very long. But ever since I started baking, it honestly does not budge. It looks flawless throughout the day and it brightens the area so much. I really love it. It's made so much of a difference. And if you have dry skin, you should probably just leave it on for like a second and then just dust it off. But because I've got oily skin, oily skin, I just leave it on for a couple of minutes, and I find that it just looks so great. Immediately after, it can look a little bit cakey, but if you leave it on for like about 20 minutes, your natural oils kind of step in and they just make it look so flawless. So I'm going to take a little bit of the powder on the lid, and then I'm just going to dab in my damp beauty blender, and I'm going to take the smallest kind of pointy side. I'm just going to dab that in the powder, and then I'm just going to apply kind of a thickish layer of this everywhere where I applied highlighter. And I know this looks crazy and white right now, but trust me, when you brush it off, it'll look amazing. So I'm just applying this, kind of dabbing it everywhere where I applied my concealer. Underneath my eyes, around my nose. And this also helps brighten that area even more. I love this powder because it's so finely milled. I'm also going to apply a little bit just underneath where I contoured, because that's just going to help the contour to pop. So I'm just going to leave it on for a couple of minutes. I know it looks absolutely crazy, but it will look amazing, trust me. I think I've had on the baking for enough. If you find that your skin is even more oily, you can leave it on for as long as you want. There's some people who leave it on as long as 20 minutes, but I just find that if I leave it on for too long, it does look a little bit too cakey for my taste. So I'm going to brush it off, and all you do is just take a clean brush and just brush off the excess powder. I find that in this time my skin has absorbed as much as it needs to kind of last throughout the day, and the rest I can just brush it off. So as you can see, my under eyes just look so bright and so flawless, and honestly it just won't crease and it'll just look perfect throughout the day. So now I like to powder the rest of my face just because I find that if I don't powder it, when I apply kind of bronzer or anything on top, because I've applied some concealer here, it just kind of clings onto the patches and sometimes it can look very, very patchy. So I just apply a very light dusting of powder. I'm using this pressed powder by Charlotte Tilbury, but you can use any. And I just take a little bit on my brush and I just kind of press it first to set it in place. And I'm just applying this anywhere where I haven't applied the translucent powder. And then I'm just going to go ahead and just dust it to kind of make it look more flawless. And I'm not adding any more powder, I'm just kind of making sure that it's all kind of nice and even and well spread. Okay, so now we've powdered, we've applied all the primers and our skin is looking absolutely flawless. I'm going to go ahead and finish my eyes, my brows, add some lipstick, and we'll come back for the final touch. Okay, and now that everything is done, I've just kind of done my hair and I'm ready to go. And the last step, but actually one of the most important ones, is applying a setting spray. I only discovered setting sprays about maybe a year ago, but honestly they make a huge difference. When you've powdered so much, sometimes your makeup can look cakey, like I said before. So this just helps kind of make it not look cakey, and it just makes your makeup last so much longer. It just kind of, it's like hairspray but for your face. I really love it. I'm using the Urban Decay one. I think L'Oreal has one called Infallible as well, but I haven't tried that one. This one is honestly amazing and the bottle lasts for so long. So basically you just want to take the setting spray and put it a little bit away from your face and just a couple of sprays all over your face will just help you set your makeup. Just let it dry, don't touch your face for just a couple of seconds, and honestly it doesn't feel sticky, nothing, but it just makes the biggest difference to make your makeup last all day. So that's it guys, those were all my tips to make your makeup last as long as possible. With this method, if I do my makeups in the morning, it'll last easily till like kind of late evening, till like maybe 10 o'clock. So a good 12 hours of makeup, and honestly it will not budge. Try it out, it's great for a party look or to kind of set your makeup on an everyday basis if you're going to work. Even if you're not wearing that much makeup, kind of apply the same principles, so thin layers and setting spray and powdering. That's all really important to keep your makeup in place, and I hope this video was useful, and please do let me know in the comments below what other things you'd like to see from me. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, give this video a thumbs up, and I will see you in my next one. Thank you so much for watching. Bye guys!